Welcome to the podcast, man. Welcome to the podcast, man. I'm Jones. I'm your host now. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host. I'm here to tell you host. I'm here to tell you something about you don't even know. I'm here to give you information that you will not pay for, but still you will get it in the hole. Oh no, I the rapper fall. I the rapper say how bigger. Oh no, fuck. If I decide to release a rap album, you all stream, right? But that's not why we're here. So let's get into the pod. Alright, so hi ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of the internet, welcome to the Not Just Design Pod. And I'm your host, Jones. And on this episode, I'm going to tell you three things. Number one, what are VC firms, VC funding, how do they work, and what are their benefits? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of the internet, as you listen, may you be blessed. In the first 6 months of 2023, funding for African startups reached an unprecedented amount of $3.14 billion. As at the time of recording this podcast, on the 9th of April 2024, that money is equivalent to 3,768 billion Nigerian naira. Let me put that into perspective for you. Now, the biggest stadium in Nigeria is the Teslim Balogun Stadium, which has a capacity of 100,000 people over basically, but let's stick to 100,000. Now, if you take 1,000 naira Nigerian notes, stack it up together, right, up to a height of 1 meter. Let me also put 1 meter in context. So the height of a regular golf club is 1 meter. So golf club, that's stick where if you see all these guys where they play golf, that's stick where they use now, the long iron where they use, they knock the ball. Yeah. The Tiger Woods people, that stick, that iron that they use now is averagely a height of 1 meter. So you stack 1,000 naira notes up to that height and you put it on every single seat in the Teslim Balogun Stadium. Every single seat, it will not still reach the 3 trillion. That means you still have more money left that you don't know where to put it. That's how much the money is. And if you don't get that example, let me give you another perspective. The standard Olympic size swimming pool is 15 meters long, 25 meters wide, and 2 meters deep. If you fill this entire pool with rice, you get a rice, different bag of rice, and you pour. By the time you count, you would have 1,000 naira for each grain of rice, and 3 trillion will still remain. You will not reach 3. I don't know how to explain it. You will put rice inside that pool, right? The grain of rice inside that pool will not reach 3 trillion Nigerian naira. It will not plenty reach 3 trillion. The money is too big. It's plenty. Now that we have that clear away, because of money like this and people like this who bring money to the ecosystem, we've seen startups like Paystack, Flutterwave, they all rise to glory, InterSwitch, and so much more. And this has been helpful to us. You've seen firms like Ingressive Capital, Future Africa, so many other firms all start up to do these things to bring in money. But before we had all this modern day drama, before we had all this modern day VC capital firms, all these people, where did it all start from? And when? Let's go back beyond the 1940s, back when Europe was still exploring the world. Yes, stop. Yeah, stop there. Good. Some can argue that Africa and slavery was even a VC-backed experiment. Let me explain. Exploring was not cheap. Christopher Columbus, all other Portuguese explorers, all of them that came to map Africa, map the US, they didn't have money to pay for almost everything that they did. They needed money to pay the men who were mounting their ships. They needed money to buy food. They needed money to, pay for other things when they stopped at islands, when they did things around Europe. And they didn't have the money to even build the ship sometimes. So what they did was to go to meet a rich person who had already built wealth, or rich people who had already built wealth, and collect their money and fund the trip. And when they came back from their hunting trip or their voyage beyond the sun, they would give some share of the profits that they came back with to these people. It could be they went fishing for whales and brought back extra whales. They went fishing for something else and brought back extra. They would give it to these people and tell them, thank you. That in a nutshell is how VC firms and VC funding works. But let me not oversimplify it before they come for my head. Let's come back to the early 2000s, 2010, 2011, up until now. What is VC? Venture capital. That's what it is, basically. So venture capital is a type of funding provided for early stage high potential startup companies that have demonstrated the potential for rapid growth and scalability. Now, VC firms, venture capital firms, right? As companies that are venture capitals, right? They invest this money, this fund, into different startups in exchange for an ownership stake in these companies. Venture capital is a kind of money that you use to start a business or you use to, improve a business that just started. Now, this venture capital, the capital here, aka funds, now they are gathered all together and given to a company or a business that has potential for growth. A company like What's Podcasting that has a potential to rapidly change the way people make and manage podcasts. They give them the company, they give them the money, and in return, they expect, an exchange for an ownership in the company and potential profits from the amount of money you make. Before I explain this further, let me tell you a story. Yeah, I know you've been waiting for this one. When I was small, if you listened back to the other episodes, I talked about how we used to play ball in our compound back then, right? And our compound had a short fence, and the opposite side of our fence was a man called Mr. Ebuka. Mr. Ebuka sometimes would sit on the fence, play ball with us, tell us what to do, how to play the ball, or he could basically just watch us. Sometimes he sees that if our boy entered his compound too much when he was busy, but nonetheless, he didn't tell us when not to play and when to play. Then, for like a week or two, our ball got spoiled. And we'll play poshu, police and thief, kacha. And then one day, we were sitting down, we were playing, but I know we shall gather together. And Mr. Ebuka asked us why we're not playing ball. And we told him that we don't have a ball, that something happened to our ball. And he told us, okay, that what do we want? And somebody said, Mr. Ebuka, buy us ball. And I was like, you want me to buy you ball? I was like, yes. I'll tell you what Mr. Ebuka did. But before then, let me give you 4-part breakdown on how VC firms work. Remember, VC firms, venture capital firms, they raise money from collecting or gathering money, funds from institutional investors, high net individuals, family offices, pension funds. These investors, right? These people that they collected this money from, they contribute it together and give it to this VC firm. That's the person that's coming to ask them for the money. The VC gongo, they give the money to them. And this VC, as the venture capital firms, they use that money to invest in different companies. This is the 4 parts on how it works. The first thing, collecting the money. They go around identifying the people they will collect the money from. They have a certain net worth of people. So if somebody does not cross that net worth, they don't even DM them. That's why I've never gotten a message. I always wondered why. The second thing, this venture capital firm now has a venture capital fund. Remember, the venture capital firm is that collects this money, and the venture capital fund is the money itself. So once this firm has collected all this money, contributed it together from all the LPs, that's the limited partners, they use that and look for companies, ideas that people are creating. For example, a company that was podcasting that is going to help and change the way, businesses and business individuals make and manage podcasts. They see potential like that, and they invest the money into it. Check the link in the description for What's Podcasting. And they invest into those kind of companies, right? In hopes that they get return back in the next 5 years. And they also have a share of ownership in those companies. The third thing is the investment process. This is where they get to vet the person. Most VC firms vet the person behind the idea before the idea. They believe anybody can sell anything to anyone. So they rather trust you, who is the person that runs the idea, before they trust the idea. If they like the idea, they can easily just use the idea, give another person to fund that person. But as long as they trust you, they would invest in you first. So they invest in the business, They own a share of the profits when it comes out, and they now control some part of the business. And the first thing is the returns. If your startup or your company blows up and becomes $1 million company and they make more money from it, they are going to take a percentage from your profits as their own, and they are going to give each and everybody back their money plus interest, a lot of interest. And then they will take their own percentage. Their own percentage now is the 100 naira. You will understand why I mean the 100 naira in a short while. Back to my story. So Mr. Ebuka said, okay, you guys want ball, right? Yeah. So he looked around, he was sitting with his friends, and he told them, I beg, I bring money to 200 naira, make I give this to them and they go buy a ball. I beg. Now my people, they always go message if I send them. Two of Mr. Ebuka's friends brought out 200 naira. Mr. Ebuka collected the 200 naira, making 400, brought out his own 100 naira, making 500, and gave it to us and asked us which ball we were going to buy. We told him health was 500 naira, Felele was 200 naira, and Paco was 100 naira. So we had to choose. It was like, okay, buy 2 Felele and buy 100 naira one bag of 100 naira pure water. Mr. Ebuka, smart Igbo man. We went, bought 2 Felele and bring pure water back. He shared the pure water with his friends, kept the remaining one with him, gave us some to drink. What just happened here is the process in which VC firms make money or collect money, basically. They reach out to people closest to them, which they know have money, and they gather all the money and they give it to an investment that they trust. In this case, us, Mr. Ebuka trusted us, the kids, told us what to go and do. VC firms, like I mentioned, give advice. Since they own part of the company, they give advice to the companies. I'm indirectly already explaining the third thing, which is the benefits of VC firms. They give advice to the companies and then they tell them what to do. In this case, Mr. Ebuka told us, oh yeah, you will buy 2 balls, keep one with me, be using one. You're playing with one of the balls. Yeah, be playing with one of the balls. And then Mr. Ebuka started doing something else. This is one of the things VC firms do. On Sunday, by 12, when we come back from church, our parents are inside and we want to go and play ball immediately. Mr. Ebuka will tell us not to play ball. Sometimes he will even seize the ball and tell us to go back and tell us to go back inside. And we had no choice and we'll go back inside. Sometimes Mr. Ebuka will come back not in the good mood and we're playing ball and disturbing him and he will pursue us away from there. He bought us the ball that way, so he had the right to tell us what to do and what not to do. Other times we'll play ball and we'll be tired and he will bring out water and give us. Sometimes he will play with us. Sometimes he will even share mango for us whenever there's mango season and we're playing ball, because his compound, which I mentioned was opposite ours, had mangoes on them. And we were excited for it. All in all, it was a mutual relationship that we all benefited from. At the end of the day, Mr. Ebuka now would allow us to play ball when he wanted. And sometimes he would tell us not to play. Unlike before where he had little to no choice, now he was reaping the benefits of his investment in giving us money to buy the ball. Not even giving us his money, but basically gathering money for us to buy the ball. You see, that's how VC firms work. They gather money from different people, give you, advise you, monitor you, grow, watch you, give you access to everything you need. And when you blow up, they collect profits, give back to the person, and also keep some for themselves. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's basically what VC firm is. As a child then, I enjoyed every single moment of playing ball with Mr. Ebuka until one day where I played ball and he smashed our kitchen window. The window didn't break, right? But that day, my mom was cooking. Oh, Chim. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh. You already know what happened. My mom was kicking, PTSD. Don't worry. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of the internet, that comes to the end of this pod. I hope you've been able to understand what VC firm and VC funding means. If you don't, let me know. But if you do, and if for any reason, any of the things I have said here interest you, make you smile, or made you feel a bit happy, please give this podcast a rating. Let me know by giving it a rating, so I know that this is how you feel about it. This encourages me to make one new episode for you every single week. Thank you very much for rating it last time, and thank you very much. Bye.
Lorenzo, I need your help. Oh, my lady, what do you need my help for? I need your help. I don't know what podcast to listen to. Oh, my lady, I got you. Go to Substack, my lady. Oh, and do what? What podcast newsletter? What's podcast newsletter? They give you 3 podcasts you can listen to later. What podcast newsletter? Every Tuesday night, they send me podcasts at 5 a.m. at night. And I listen to the podcast at night. What's podcast newsletter? That's the cringiest ad ever. Kindly check What's Podcast Newsletter on Substack to get podcast recommendations that you would like.